But right here you're on Spring Claim, the Spring Mining Claim, which was owned by Gustav Billing of the Billing Smelter fame in Kelly Mine. And in the cactus right there is Spring Hill, which is the first location, mining district, 1872, for this district. Once the boom finally came with Billing's money buying in, the town site was platted in 1884. They had a post office by 1883, and the usual boomtown experience for a decade or so. So what we're going to do is walk. The county road, as you can tell, stops at that trench, and this is just mining road access to the top of the hill if you want to go that far. So we'll go up to Kelly Road and make a left into, and take your time at your own pace, and we'll head up to.
Is this the real God? Wow, the real God here.
No. This is the Clark Hotel, and the building is one of about 5 in this row of the early false fronts, that 1880s mining boom period. The Robinson store was the other one at the pavement. I think that's Tafoya's pool hall. It went through various evolutions, but it was one of the last buildings up here. So again, you're on Eden. Then there's neighborhoods and the schoolhouse into the next ridge. So this was the town site once, and you look at the picture on the next page, pretty much filled in with development. Page 18, it's got the 1915 picture, and then on the bottom is sort of from the same angle today, where Kelly boomed to maybe a population of 3,000. Of course, today it's the classic ghost town look of zero. Gustav Billing, the German, who was very successful in Germania smelting works in Salt Lake City, and then in Leadville with a smelter there, and arrived here in 1882-83. And that's when the boom happened for a good solid decade. When it slumped about 1903, they discovered zinc and began producing zinc out of this deposit. And the Tri-Bullion Mining and Development Company, which is described in your little handout.
Page 13 has some good stuff.
Had hired consultant engineer Samuel Traylor to build the trailer shaft, developed the processing system, which was very complicated, including magnetic separation, including roasting, and including your retort furnace for zinc. So that was purchased by Empire Zinc, and for the longest time was part of that New Jersey Zinc subsidiary. And then it moved in various levels of deposits that Ginger talked about. And on the Silver Peg claim, which is 2 down from that, which is where we're standing with the trailer shaft. That was built in 1906, went into operation to tap 1,000 feet down the various levels of ore. But the first generation that arrived here in the early 70s were looking for gold. They found traces. The next group looking for silver, lead, but they were very isolated, very small operations. So they took the technology from the Midwest, the little furnaces, and from Mexico, little hearth furnace from St. Louis, and what they call Mexican furnaces or adobe furnaces, about 8 foot high. And in that notch somewhere, Jane hasn't found it for me yet, was a historic furnace, little adobe furnace, and it operated on the legal tender claim, which if the Kellys here, the legal tender was next, and then the Crown.
Thank you for the smelter, for pointing out the smelter slag.
what was the name of it? The one above the Kelly Outcrop?
Oh,
It just skipped my mind.
Tip Top?
Below Tip Top. The one,
Grand Tower.
Grand Tower. So there's an outcrop on the ridge. You can see that from that point they hauled it down to the little smelter, maybe a ton a day capacity. Shipped the lead bullion with a little silver in it to St. Louis, and for about a year and a half lost money. and then the railroads built the Socorro. Gustav Billing comes from Leadville, buys the Kelly, the mine, and then builds the Billing smelter down in Socorro. So that's when the takeoff period for all these mines up here, and the processing was done down at the Billing smelter. It's a classic Leadville lead carbonate smelting operation, just transplanted. That lasted about a decade in a boom period, financial crash. Then they looked at building a smelter here. I don't know if you remember, down at the forks where we left the pavement, came up the road, on the right was a slag dump and a foundation of a mill. That slag dump is from the graphic smelter.
I think it's court.
It was operated in the 1890s to the early 1900s.
There is some barite out here.
Usually, most of its operation was with the graphic plane, which is just to the north of us. But it also, the Kelly mine was leased out to various operators, and it worked. And it's the same technology, a blast furnace, as the Billing smelter that you would have found. In 1903, they credit the discovery of the zinc level, or it became commercially viable. So they first shipped it direct smelting to Coffeyville, Kansas, to process at a zinc smelter in that Tri-State district. And hand-picked milling, if you would say, no milling. Kelly was acquired by the Tri-Bullion Mining and Development Company. They took over a group of claims and created the Tri-Bullion group or whatever and built the shaft. But they really had difficult figuring out how to process this complex ore. They brought in specialists from around the country, including Mineral Point, Wisconsin, to try and figure out, and came up with a complex system which included iron with a magnetic separator here, roasting beforehand, breaking it up. Below these tower furnaces, they built a classic gravity concentration mill with Hancock jigs, classics, little shaker tables, and shipped that concentrate. And for the most part, that captured a percentage that made it profitable for them. But then they had their treasurer embezzle money at the same time, the Panic of 1907 happened. So Tri-Bullion was taken over by Empire Zinc. Empire Zinc is a subsidiary of New Jersey Zinc, and brought some folks from, I think New Jersey Zinc has a subsidiary, Mineral Point Zinc or whatever in Wisconsin. Again, crews to operate. The technology was flotation with an agreement with the Ozark Company, which was Sherman-Williams had built a flotation mill down at the junction again. Some of the ores were shipped through that, what became known as the Waldo Tunnel, from the mid shaft, which the Tri-Bullion owned, to the flotation mill, which immediately burnt down in 1916, of course. And which in some ways was good, because then they could rebuild it, because flotation was rapidly changing at that time. And and then after we went to flotation, then they set up the name Sherwin-Williams Paints operated Ozark Mining and Development, which is described a little bit. and had smelters around, again, Coffeyville, Kansas, which shipped from that flotation mill to there. The retort here and some of the other operations were given up, just not as cost effective. And they did well during the 19-teens, during the World War I mineral market price boom. In 1927, closing of the Ozark Mill pretty much shut down processing plants in the district, and a small-scale leasing after that.